Good morning, Allie.
Good morning.
I think we're live. It's always a bit of a lag, but welcome. So glad to have you here this morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here and happy to have a good chat about WIC today.
So anybody who's watching now or later, I'm Jean Favor, and I'm the parent liaison with the Great Start Collaborative and Parent Coalition of Charlevoix, Emmett, and Northern Antrim County. And I'm here this morning with Allie Monroe as our guest on our Great Start Community Connections. So, bringing voices and faces in the early childhood community and public services in general out to our families so that we can kind of get a bit more familiar with everything that we have available, all the resources we have to offer. So, Allie is here from the health department, and she has been a partner with the Parent Coalition for a while now to help inform parents about what services they have provided. They have to provide for families, and she's going to talk to us today specifically about WIC and the MIHP program. And so, Ellie, if you want to introduce yourself and maybe say a little bit about who you are and where you came from and what your role is at the health department.
Yeah. So, as you said, I'm Allie Monroe. I am a public health nurse at the health department. So, I am involved in a lot of different programs at the health department. So, number one, though, as you said, I do WIC and MIHP, which is called the Maternal Infant Health Program. So, that's a home visiting program. I also do like immunizations and communicable diseases for Emmett County. And then for WIC, I'm the nutrition education coordinator as well for our agency. So a lot of different hats that I have, and a lot of our programs are all just kind of integrated and combined. So I kind of get to do everything every day. So, and I've been at the health department for about 4 years almost. And I have loved this job so much. I've been a nurse for, I think, 5.5 years maybe. I worked at Munson in Traverse City for a little bit, but always knew I wanted to do public health. So I was very excited to start this job. And it was just kind of my dream job, always what I pictured for myself. So it's just kind of, yeah, a dream come true to be here.
Yay, perfect. So, public
Yeah.
health nurse. So your background is in nursing, and so
Mhm.
just for anybody else out there listening, one more place to go when you get your nursing degree. So I'm just thinking about, as you said, like you have all these different programs and you do all these different things within each program.
Mhm.
Sometimes it gets really like confusing to try to straighten out like who is who and what's what and where do they cover and who gets covered in there. So um, just to
Yeah.
kind of make like this umbrella like in my brain. So the health department is who you work for,
Mhm.
and the health department is who
Mhm.
administers WIC and MIHP. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
And the health department covers like 10 counties or some
Well, our health department is four
four
counties, yeah,
counties. Okay,
but
so
yeah, it feels like a lot though. It's a
it's a
lot of
lot of
different
counties.
counts.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and our collaborative covers 2.25 counties, and we overlap
Mhm.
in that way. So
Yeah.
let's just start with WIC. So Allie was actually a guest speaker. Good morning to whoever's watching today. Again, so I can see that you're here. I can't see who you are, so you can drop us a comment, and we would love to know who's watching us today. And if you ever have any questions during the session, please put them in the comments. We can read them and see if Allie has an answer for you. Um, and welcome. So Ellie was a guest speaker at our Parent Coalition meeting last year, and we also had another representative from WIC to talk about nutrition speaking with us. So that's been really cool. And so maybe I've got WIC on the brain, and I just was really excited to learn all about the ways and the people that can get services through WIC. So if you want to talk a bit about maybe WIC first and who,
Mhm.
like my question is like, so I'm a mom. So WIC stands for
Mhm.
Women, Infants, and Children. And so I'm maybe
Mhm.
a mom with an infant. What do I do if I think WIC might be something for me? How do I find out what that is, where it
Mhm.
is, how do I get it, what do I get?
Yeah. So, as you said, it's for women, infant, children. It's an income-based program. So there's income guidelines, I think, on our website, and then the state WIC website. So if you ever were interested, you can double check. And anyone that has Medicaid will have income that qualifies as well. So that's good to know. But if you're unsure, you can always just give us a call to see if you qualify, and we'll double check for you. And then if you do qualify, we'll schedule you for an appointment. And then kind of do like the intake process and get you certified. And then I guess kind of backing up, what you get on WIC, it's a nutritional supplemental program. So each month, a person that is on WIC will get a certain amount of food loaded onto their WIC card. And there's lots of different foods. It's a lot of like great nutritional foods that you need to live a happy, healthy life. So we love providing that for people. And there's like fresh fruits and vegetables, bread, beans, peanut butter, all those good things for you. Um, so when you do get certified for WIC, you'll have those benefits for a full year. And then anyone that qualifies can be pregnant women. And then postpartum, they can either have their WIC benefits 6 months postpartum if they're not breastfeeding. And if they are breastfeeding, they can get up to a year depending on how long they breastfeed. And then, as I said, like children that qualify will get those benefits for a year, and then we'll do the recertification process and make sure they still qualify. But for children, it can be birth to 5 years old that they could get those benefits. So
Okay,
hopefully that makes
so
sense.
it kind of didn't for me
Oh
for a
no.
second. So, okay, just because you said, the mother can get
Uh-huh.
benefits prenatal and then up to 6 months postpartum if she's not breastfeeding, and a year postpartum if she is. But she also has a
Mm-hmm.
child, so
Mm-hmm.
after that. So that's just where my brain got stuck on
Uh-huh.
who's getting the benefits then those first year. Like,
Yeah.
is your kid getting it? Is the mother and the child getting it? Is it how does that?
Yeah. Good
Okay,
question. So yes, it's the mother and the child. So they each have like their own benefits. They're all on
okay,
one card.
okay, super.
So good,
So
good
you kind of get like
clarification. Yes.
extra funds for that first year and prenatal.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then so after a year, the child can get benefits to receive food money. Because you don't
Mm-hmm.
get food, like you pick out the foods. There's an approved list, and they're all like
Yes.
well vetted for nutrition and everything, which is
Yes.
super cool. It takes a lot of the guesswork out. I can see where that's like it's limiting for families because if that doesn't exist on the shelf, but you know that if it's approved, it's going to be good for you. So
Yes.
that's pretty cool. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I know we've heard from families they're like, yeah, we figured out what foods we liked and what worked for our family, so it just made it simpler for shopping. We go directly to that spot,
Mm-hmm.
grab that bread, grab that cereal, grab those, vegetables or whatever. Um,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and so then the child can get those benefits for up until 5.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then they would just come in each year for a recertification, but they'd always have those benefits for that full year. Mm-hmm.
Okay, as long as you meet the income eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
is that the
Mm-hmm.
only requirement is income for?
Yeah, and it would be the family income, and that can include like non-traditional caregivers too. So there's a lot of people that could qualify that maybe don't think they do.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
if you're taking care of a child that's under
Mm-hmm.
5 and under, and you
Mm-hmm.
think you might qualify for receiving WIC
Mm-hmm.
food, you should check it out, even if you're not a mother. So if you're a grandmother
Yes.
watching it, or watching a child, or a father, obviously watching a
Mm-hmm.
child, or a caregiver um, taking care of a child, you can apply and
Mm-hmm.
see.
Yes. Yeah, and we like always say, even for like pregnant or postpartum women that are on like maternity leave, if your income is lower because you're on maternity leave, you might qualify because we just do a snapshot of your income for
Okay.
when you're certified, and then you'll get those benefits for a full year, even if your income changes.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of people might qualify and they don't realize it.
Oh yeah, that's great to know because I know a lot of services are like we look back 3 months and take like an average or whatever. So if you lost your job, right now you might still
Mm-hmm.
not quite qualify because you still have that income on your record,
Mm-hmm.
on record. So, so
Yeah.
it's just like what do you have right now? What are you bringing in right now? And that's when you
Mm-hmm.
can certify. Cool.
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know we had a little bit of confusion at our meeting about, or questions, I guess, about like home visiting through WIC. So that's a separate,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what WIC does.
Yeah, so that's a great program. Kind of like what I mentioned, all of our services are really integrated, and we like pride ourselves in that, I
Mm-hmm.
feel, because we like to say we're like the one-stop shop for people to help get those services. So Yes, we do our home visiting program. A lot of our home visiting clients call us the WIC nurse, which is totally fine. But technically, that home visiting program is called the Maternal Infant Health Program. And we can just do WIC in the home so they don't have to come into the office as much. And we can talk more about WIC more often, just like double checking benefits whenever we go to home visits. So, yeah, that's really integrated. So I don't. Do you want me to talk more about?
I do. I want to know more about the maternal infant health program because so and another the next step back or forward is that you don't need to have home visitors from the maternal infant health program in order to qualify for WIC in order to get those benefits. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And you could have the home visiting program and not have WIC if you wanted. So they can be separate. But the only thing with the maternal infant health program is you do have to have Medicaid for it.
Okay.
So we try to enroll any pregnant women that come in to get certified on WIC. We also will offer that home visiting program if they have Medicaid as well. And we'll kind of do a joint visit for both of those to kind of, so they don't have to come back and things like that. And then we always offer other programs as well. But the home visiting program, again, is for pregnant women up until they deliver. And we just provide home visits about once a month, and we can just talk more about your baby's growth and how you're feeling and all the pregnancy things. And we offer a lot of breastfeeding support. And then when the baby is born, we can see the baby up to a year old. And we do extra weight checks, we do developmental assessments, and then other referrals if needed for early on, or I'm trying to think of other things. We can have them see our social worker or our dietitian. So there's a lot of benefits to that program.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out eligibility again. So that's for prenatal and then up to a year, an infant up to a year old, and it's about monthly visits. And that's income based. Is it the same requirements as for WIC? I know you said Medicaid automatically qualifies you, but
yeah. So the only thing is you just have to have Medicaid.
Okay.
So that's the only requirement.
So for MIHP, you have to have Medicaid.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. So in WIC you don't, but it does automatically qualify you for See, that's where I'm like,
Yes.
okay. And it's I need a little flow chart of if then,
I know.
and then where do I go? And so you can get referrals to other services, obviously. Because I'm just thinking back when I had my babies, and there was, I don't even remember, we were discharged, and they were like, do you want to have somebody stop in your house? And and I was like, sure, yeah. Could you, yeah. You leave that day, and you're like, oh, okay, I've got this thing, I've been thinking about it for 9 months, but now, so I still don't even know for sure, but I think that was through the health department. I don't know who this person, I knew who, she was once she came in, but it was great. They came in, and I think I only had one visit or something, but and I don't remember if it was through, I think she said she was through the health department or she worked with the health department, but she did an assessment, she did weight checks, she, talked to me about how's it going. And that fear that I've talked to other home visiting programs about this, of letting someone into your home, especially, just considering okay, during my pregnancy and my newborn baby phase, this isn't how I typically keep my house. This isn't how I normally live, or, maybe I've got some postpartum depression going on or whatever it is, and just that kind of anxiety around letting a stranger who's affiliated with, an authority sort of position, come into your house, and, to feel safe with that, I think is always a challenge for certain people. It was hard for me even, and I was like, yes, just give me, I just want some help. Just give me help. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I need anybody to come in. The breastfeeding support was great. But just it's helpful to know who's coming in, what are they going to do when they come into my house? Are they going to, I've got dirty diapers, how do I, try to make somebody feel comfortable with having a stranger come in and evaluate, my parenting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So who is it that comes in? It's not you. You kind of coordinate everything, but you have MIHP. Are they nurses that come in and do the work? Okay. And
so it's, we have a handful of nurses, that do that program. We all kind of have our own caseload that we see clients each month. So
okay. And so they, it's the same. They come in and talk to you about development and growth and evaluate and ask, how things are going and that sort of thing. It's I mean, I remember it being like a really welcoming, but still that kind of anxiety beforehand.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
And like to ease people's fears, like we go into so many homes and we have like zero judgment. Like we've seen it all. We don't care. We know how crazy life can be. Some of us are moms too, and our houses are probably the same, you
mhm.
know? Like I totally understand though that it's hard for people to, have people come into your home, but like we like want to be there for clients and want them to know we're not there to police how clean their house is or how their parenting style is. We're just there to help them answer questions and be that resource for them.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it is really helpful. And I've heard other stories from other families that have similar experiences, the worry about it, but then like the relief once you've done it and,
Yeah.
just the gratitude for having that service. And it's free, which is
Yes.
really helpful.
Yeah.
And it helps you get connected with other services as needed, which I think is great. When you say one stop shop, that's really what we want. And we
Uh-huh.
try to piece it out just so you know, like, okay, these are the services you're receiving in case anybody asks, like,
Mhm.
yes, you are, getting MIHP services, just so you know. But like we do it all in how, like the health department provides
Yes.
all these things, and we, work together so that it's not siloed, which I think is great. So,
Uh-huh.
let's see, what else? Is there anything else you want to say that I kind of missed on, or
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to go back to like WIC too, and talk about like what a typical visit looks like as well. So, when you do come in, we like to see clients every or 4 times a year
okay?
typically in the office. If that's not doable, we can do phone visits too and things like that. There's a lot of flexibility
But you only do
from
the
COVID, which is nice.
assessment or like the what is it, certification once a year.
Yeah,
Okay, so these are
yeah,
extra visits to like keep up and keep supporting families throughout that year. Is that
yeah.
okay?
Yeah, talk about nutrition, double check weight gain, things like that. So when you come in for the appointment, you'll talk to the tech and they'll kind of go through your demographic information, double check like if it's a certification appointment, income, and things like that. And then they'll take you back and you'll get your weight and height done. And then depending on the visit, we can also do check iron levels and lead levels as well, which is like super important. A lot of families don't get that done regularly, and we've had some really good instances where we've caught really low levels and we're able to help provide care for people. So we do that, and then the tech will bring the clients back to the nurse, and then you'll just kind of talk to the nurse about health and nutrition, and we'll kind of make some nutrition goals, and then go over like the benefits you'll be getting each month, and then talk about any other resources may need. We can also do fluoride varnish during some of those appointments and immunizations. Um, and then after you meet with the nurse, then you'll go back out to the tech and get all your benefits loaded and printed and schedule your next appointment, and then you're on your way. So
Awesome.
I hope people don't feel intimidated by what to expect when they come in.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great point to make. And I always like to know what's going to happen when I go back in the room with somebody. So it sounds like
Yeah.
a low key kind of like doctor visit. You go in and you
Uh-huh.
just check in. Like this is just a checkup and what support
Uh-huh.
do you need? Yeah, that sounds great. So that if you qualify for WIC, then if you're doing immunizations through that, are those covered as well? Those are free for families too.
It's all based on like insurance, but
Okay.
yes, we work with your insurance, or if you don't have insurance, we have ability for us to, either have really low cost or no cost for the
Okay.
immunizations.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. I always when I go in and the doctor's like, "Yeah, you're gonna need this prescription," and like it's no big deal, and then you're like, "That's $500 a month,"
Yeah, you're like, oh my
So like it's just
gosh.
good to know like what are the costs gonna be if I go in there
Yeah.
and somebody needs it. The visit is free and the evaluation is free and the
Uh-huh.
benefits are free. So um, if you need immunizations, then that might be a small cost, I guess.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'd say usually not, but
So where do I go? And we'll drop links in the comments for maybe you said call us, so we'll put the phone
yeah.
number in there. We can put the
Uh-huh.
location. So you're with the health department, and I know there's a few different offices. Is there like one per county? If you're in that county, you go to your county, or how do you find where you need to go to get to
Yeah.
WIC?
Yeah, so we cover Antrim, Otsego, Emmett, and Charlevoix County. In some of our counties, we have two WIC offices actually.
Okay.
For instance, in Emmett County, we have one Harbor Springs on 119, and then also we'll have I think twice a month. I always forget. We're in Pilston as well,
Okay.
so a little easier, so people don't have to drive as far. And then we have an office in Gaylord, and then Charlevoix, Gwen City, and Mansalona, and Bel Air.
Okay.
So
So
lots of offices.
lots of
or
offices, and
options.
any of those can
Yeah.
be where you go to access WIC services and to get more information.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
definitely good to know. And so the days and the times might vary depending on when the nurses are available, but if you call in, you'd schedule an appointment for your first
Yep.
meeting. Okay.
Yep. We have set WIC clinic days. Every county has a late clinic every so often as well. So from 10 to 7, so that can
Okay.
help families that might work as well to do it a little bit later in the evening.
Awesome. Yeah, great.
Mhm.
Um, cool. Anything else we forgot?
I feel like there's so
I
much.
know, I'm
So
like, we could
I
talk
just, yeah,
forever. Yeah.
I know. I
If
just encourage people to check us out. Like, you might not think you qualify for our programs, but you really do, and we have so much to offer. Like, even if you don't want WIC or MAHP, we can do your immunizations. We have a lot of other programs too. So, yeah, I just encourage people to reach out or check out our website.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's good to see you and get your
Mm-hmm.
face out there. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really a pleasure to have you. So my last thing is like what is your, I guess your take home message to families is basically just like check us out and see what we
Yeah,
have to
I,
offer,
I would
right?
say that's definitely my message. Yes,
Um,
we're here to help you and we want to. So,
well, and I think that's critical too. And we're always we're really behind strengthening families and making sure that we're all doing the things we can do to build up these protective factors in our families, and asking for help when we need it is really critical. And we want to support everybody to be able to feel comfortable for asking for help when they need it, and knowing
yeah.
that it happens all the time. We're all there at times in our lives, and we all need to do that, to reach out. So be comfortable. The people that you're asking are there to help, and they're really
Hmm.
happy to provide you with support. So
Yeah.
yeah, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Allie, and we hope to see you again soon. Keep in touch with our Parent Coalition, and keep up the good work.
Yeah. Same to you.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye, everybody.